let's just set the scene a little bit on who are Gen Z. Who's this? Who's this group of individuals we're talking about here today, right? So Gen Z is currently the second youngest generation, sat in between millennials and Generation Alpha, right? These are people born in the late 1990s, early 2000s. I think what's really interesting for me as well, and like every generation before, Gen Z's behaviors are shaped by how they grew up in the world and how they grow up in the world. So again, when we just think about navigating change, the workplace, let's also just have a moment to reflect on the fact that actually the experiences they go through, although different, right, will be different, are shaped by those early years and the world they're in. Similar to all of the journeys that we've all gone through in our lives as well, right? Our journeys are all shaped by how we grew up, right? So I think it's important to highlight that here today as well. And then if we dig into Gen Z a little bit more again, they've come of age in the shadow of, as Ryan mentioned earlier, lockdowns, right? The pandemic. They've come through, they're working through, as we all are, climate change, right? And the real challenges around that. And obviously the fears of real global economic downturn as well. And we've only really touched on a few areas there as well in reality, right? So let's also bear that in mind when we're considering this generation. The latest Gen Zers, I think that's a phrase, or maybe I've just made that up. I'll let you all tell me later, but I'm going to call them Gen Zers for the purpose of this. Interestingly as well, were the first generation born with widespread use of the internet achieved. Yeah, again, so that's something we really need to consider when thinking about Gen Z. And that's why we hear the name digital natives sometimes also when we think about Gen Zers, yeah, being digital natives. So that first generation that really has grown up with the internet as a daily part of their lives, right? And I see that immediately also in obviously the younger generations as well with my girls, and how access to devices, tools, internet is so impactful for them as well, right? So that's something I'm very conscious of. And our Gen Zers as well, they're either, what do they look like in the workplaces today? Well, they're in our workplace today. Some of them have responsibilities in our workplaces today. Yeah. Some of them will have mortgages, like some of us in this room today, right? So they're navigating those kind of bits already. Whilst we've got others that are in our pre-teen stage as well. So we need to be thinking about also how we're readying the workplace for those individuals that are coming in the coming years as well. So I feel like just sharing that there's a lot for us all to navigate when thinking about those coming into the workplace, those that are in the workplace today, and also the changes we've been through and are going through as well. There's a lot we're unpacking here and a lot that we're all grappling with in the workplace.